Okay, hi, I'm back. So that was wild trying to find a place today to record. It was too busy on break. Anywho. Feeling great. Had quite a lovely day. Such a magnificent, gifted of miracles. And now redefined what that means to me. What miracles mean to me, what blessed means to me, what gifted means to me. It's so fabulous. So obviously, like, stark contrast in the spectrum of emotions and capacity and ability to really utilize all that we have and realize that all that we have is to be utilized. Like, it's there in us for a reason. So there's no need to deny anything that is working to serve us. And I feel like I really look at everything is happening for us. Everything's a gift and everything's giving us something. And perspective is what lets us find that, so this is Kate. This is tying me back into what I was talking about. What I found out today was the past, the power of it, that even though it is behind us, how perspective can let it really, really and truly affect the present moment and determine how we approach the future present moments. And so I learned this technique we were practicing, and what I experienced was changing my perspective and being able to resource and source from within me and from above me, without me, these ultimate states of perspective that now, in a moment, I was like, holy, my present changed from that, which I didn't realize the past when we are denying it. And as much as putting the past behind us is the thing, because it's done and it's over with, and all we have is really the concept of time is just a concept that if we weren't told what time means and how to measure it, then what would we think of time? The purpose of is to free ourselves from what it might be limiting us to think about and how we feel. So even though putting the past behind us, if our perspective on the past is inhibiting us presently, then how would presently, if something is done happening but still affecting the present, how would it not affect the future? And so perspective, changing the perspective and realizing that perspective is such a choice, and then finding out from that freedom of realizing that perspective is a choice, then opened me up to realizing I could see it in a better way, and then let me feel better about the now, and just catapulted me into the concept of defining and creating a future intent of goals, of focus. So very helpful, and was so happy at how moved I was by learning what I learned to change my perspective, because putting up barrels of denial doesn't mean that the things that we're denying aren't still affecting us. And that is where accepting it lets us be able to be empowered to realize we're separate from it and have a choice to interact with it in the way that we choose. I'm tired. I'm so happy. I'm so blessed. I'm so good night. Addition was also that I didn't even realize that what the problem was that was holding me back, and I was feeling inhibited by what I'm feeling now in the present moment when I'm feeling that way. I didn't realize until changing my perspective about the past that it was the past that was impacting my present, etc., my perspective on the future. So that's the cap, is I then realized that until I changed my perspective of the past, that perspective, and that alone, it wasn't even the events, because I clearly did not change the events, that my perspective of the past was what was causing limiting beliefs, problems, inhibiting feelings and ideas in my present about my future. I thought, okay, it must be the future that has the problem, or it must be the present that has it. Those are the two places that I should look at. And they say, okay, don't look at the past. Don't look backwards, just look forwards. And so I hear that. However, after this experience, I was like, well, it depends on how we honestly do. How much time do we spend in the past? How much time do we spend in the now? And how much time do we spend in the present? What's the percentage of that? And so if we are spending any time in the past, how are we spending time in the past? Is it reflecting? Is it positively remembering the excitements, the joys, the successes, the feel good moments, or really ask ourselves, like, how do you look at the past? What is your perspective on the things that have happened in the past? And I feel like I can guarantee for myself that how I look at the past, that perspective that I hold there, if I can hold my perspective of the past right now, I can have a perspective about it, and I can hold that perspective in this present moment. Stay with me in like this referencing point. Then that guarantees that I'm holding that perspective. And how can that not bleed into, like, what is the present moment? How is that not now? And how does that not reflect into the future? If it's my perspective and I just apply it to the past, to the present, to the future, if I'm just applying perspectives to these places, how can I guarantee that how I look at the past is not how I look at the present? So, and is not how I look at the future. And so if how I'm looking at the past is negative, inhibiting, upset, hurt, disbelieving, the gamut, you name it, what makes it stop at the past? If I don't even let the past, that is not happening, if I don't even let the past events stop at where they are, and I keep thinking about them, looking back, remembering them, oh, that was the bad stuff, like, then how I think perspective is universal to our timeline, our construct of our life. Our construct of our past, present, and future is like coming from one governing mind, one governing perspective. So check your perspective on the past, present, and future. And then if we can re-gauge that, then it can free us from the past. And it all kind of like is another example of openness and accepting then lets us deal with it, and it can be perceived new and released, i.e. perspectives, i.e. emotions, i.e. anything that we go to shutting off from or denying or putting barricades and blocking. That, look at this, that is literally closing us off. That is literally putting blinders on to new perspectives. Beautiful, perfect. Okay, third time's a charm. So, okay, bye, the soulful babe.